Today we are going to learn a very important topic, which is stacks and queues. First we'll see what is a stack. Now I'm sure you all might have seen uh, chairs, empty chairs piled one upon another. Okay, if you put a chair one upon one after another, it becomes a stack of chairs, right? Now if you have to insert another empty chair, where you will put the chair, you will put the chair at the top of that pile, right? Similarly, if I have to take out a chair from this pile, can I take out a chair from the middle of this pile? I cannot, right? So what I'll do, in order to take out a chair from this pile, I have to take out the topmost chair, right? So the point here is, stack is a data structure in which the items or data is added at the top only. Then if you have to remove the data or any element, you have to remove from the top only. So stack is a data structure which allows to insert data or to remove data from one end only, right? In real world also it happens, right? So in programming also it happens. Many a times you have to maintain stacks in programming also, right? So what are the applications of stacks? We have done functions. Now when we execute functions, what actually happens? Suppose there is a function A which is calling function B, right? Function B in turn will call function C. This is the case. Now what happens? You execute some set of statements in A, right? Then function B is called. Now whatever execution it has done in function A will be saved somewhere. So the execution which has been done before function B has been called is saved in a stack. Then function B is called. Now in order to call function B, it will jump from one memory location to another memory location, right? Here it will find B, then it will start executing function B, right? Now suppose after executing a part of function B, there is a function call statement which is calling function C, right? Now whatever execution it has done in function B must be saved somewhere. So again the execution of function B is saved in the stack, right? Half of the execution of function A has been saved in a stack, half of the execution of function B has been saved in the stack, and then function C is called. Now in order to execute function C, it will jump from this location to another memory location where it will find the definition of function C, then it will start executing function C, right? Now if function C will call function D, what happens? Again whatever execution it has done in function C will be saved in the same stack. So that stack will contain half of the execution of A, half of the execution of B, and then half of the execution of C. Then it will call function D. Then after execution of function D, where the control will return into function C, right? Now where it will find the prior execution of function C, it will take out from the stack. If it will take out from the stack, it will take out from the topmost position. So what has been saved at the topmost position? Half of the execution of function C. So it will find the previously done execution, whatever variables were declared, all those variables and the state of variables will be retained from this stack, and then it will follow the execution after function called D, right? So after execution of function C, where it will return in function B, because from function B function C was called, right? So again from the stack it will take out whatever it had executed in function B, and then it will execute the following statements, right? So in this way a stack is used to call multiple functions, right? So what stack is doing, stack is saving the state of a function when another function is called, right? And it is maintained in a stack. Whenever it will save the state, it will save at the top. While returning also, it will take out the values from the top itself, right? So that is the real-time application of a stack. Then what is the definition of stack? It allows access to only the last item inserted. That's what I told. An item is inserted or removed from the stack from one end, that is known as top of the stack. Here you can see the item has, if you have to insert an item, so while storing this data, it follows this mechanism. What is the mechanism? LIFO. LIFO means last in, first out. The person or the element which entered in this stack in the last will come out first, right? So it is known as LIFO. Okay, so suppose this is a stack. If you have to insert an element in the stack, that operation is known as push operation. And if you have to delete an element from the stack, that operation is known as pop operation, right? Now this is a stack. If you have to insert an element, if you have to insert another chair in this pile of empty chairs, what you will do? You will put the last chair at the top, right? Then if you have to take out element from the stack, you can take out element from the top itself. Okay. Now how stack is implemented? Stack is implemented using a list. In your syllabus, stack is always implemented in a list. There is a list implementation of stack in your syllabus. So if suppose I have a stack of numbers, so how I will implement it? I will make a list of these numbers, right? So at the 0th element there is 0.55, then 4.2, then 3.3, then minus 2.5, right? Now if I have to add the element will be added in the end, right? And element will be taken out from the end only, right? So in this way, this list will be used to implement a stack. From a list you can take out elements from the middle also, but here because we are implementing stack, we will not take out element from the middle of the list. Then our stack implementation will be disturbed, right? That will not be an implementation of stack. Okay, so suppose there is a list or a stack of numbers. So this stack of numbers can be maintained as a list. If I have to add 8.9, that means I have to push an element in the stack. What I'll do? I will use the append method of list, right? Whatever you will supply to this append method will be added at the end, right? If I call pop method means I am deleting an element from the stack, right? So if you delete an element from the list, if you call pop method, which element is deleted? The last element will be deleted. Okay, so that is how a stack is implemented. Similarly, you can implement a stack of strings, that means a stack of names, or you can have a stack of list also. So this stack is actually a list of lists. There are individual lists within this stack which is also implemented as a list. So if you have to save, this is known as one node. This is a node. This is a node, right? So how many nodes are there in the stack? 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes are there in the stack. Then this 5th node is added, right? Similarly, this is one node. These are the individual nodes of the stack. Now here each node is a floating number, here each node is a string, here each node of the stack is again a list, right? So this stack, if you implement this stack is actually a list of lists, nested list, right? So name of the stack is stack, so I'll write stack, and then this mark the beginning of the outermost list, this is the end of outermost list, which is a stack. Then within this outermost list, first element is again a list. Now the first value of this first list is 101, that is roll number, name and percentage. Then again second node will store roll number, name and percentage of second student. Third node will store roll number, name and percentage of third student, right? So if I have to add an element, that element is a list. So if I have to add details of one more student, that will be a list. So within this round bracket there is a list which is storing roll number, name and percentage of the student which I want to add in this stack. Okay, if you delete an element, so after adding your stack will become like this, right? Then if you delete an element, the topmost element will be deleted. Here the topmost node is, after inserting this, the topmost node will be this. So if you call pop method, it will remove the topmost node from this stack. Okay, then what are the other stack operations? Placing a data item on the top is called push, that I already told. If you have to insert an element, that operation is known as push operation, but that insertion will be done at the top end. Removal of a node or removal of an element is known as pop operation. There is peek operation also. Peek means accessing what is at the topmost node, what has been saved at the topmost node. Now if you want to see what is there in the topmost node, that operation is known as peek operations. Then where stacks are actually used in function calling mechanism, which I told you. Then in some old calculators, this grocery shop person, if you have visited a particular store or somewhere, right, what they do, while calculating the bill, they will add individual items. Then in the calculator there is a key from which it will check again the values of each individual item. Now after inserting the last value, if that shopkeeper presses back arrow key, it will move on to the last entered value. Then before that what has been saved, then before that, then before that. So in this way, what is actually being done, those values are saved in a stack. First topmost value is accessed, then before the then the second last value, then third last value, and like this it will go on checking the values. So that is also a stack implementation. There will be a sure shot 4-mark question based on stack in your CBSE board exam paper, that is for sure, right? They will ask either pop operation or push operation, right, or both may be asked. So let us see how to implement a stack. Now in this problem I am implementing a stack to store floating point numbers. Here we had done this example, right? I will be implementing a stack where I will be storing floating numbers. Okay, so if you see here, I have written definitions for push, pop and display the stack. Okay, now initially this is my stack. So stack is what? It is a list. Okay, so initially my stack is empty. What is the name of my stack in this program? I have given it name as fnums, that means floating numbers. Okay, so fnums is the name of the stack, right? And this stack is empty initially. That means there are no elements in the stack initially. Okay, then now first operation, what I'll do, I will push an element or a node in the stack, right? So for that I have created a function named push underscore num, and I have given this stack to this function. I have actually given this list to this function named push num. Okay, now what is written in push num? Let us see. In push num function, it receives one list, right? This is the list. Fnum is the parameter, right? Now what this function is supposed to do, this function is supposed to enter a floating point number into the stack. It will add a floating point number in the stack. Okay, what is a stack? Stack is a list, right? Initially that list is empty. How many elements can be added in a list? You can add n number of elements till you run short of memory. Okay, so there is no upper limitation of adding values in a list. जब तक तुम्हारा मेमोरी है, मेमोरी के अंदर स्पेस है, you can grow that list. Okay, so first it will read a number from the user, enter a floating point number, then fnums is the list, which is actually the parameter which has come when this function is called. Now in this fnums it will append this fn. What is fn? Fn is the number, floating point number, which you have taken from the user. Okay, again you see, initially this is the main area of my code, right? So initially I have defined a stack. Name of the stack is fnums, which is empty initially. If I have to add a value in this fnums, I have created a function named push underscore num, which receives one argument, or which receives one parameter. Fnums is the argument, and now because it is a list, right? Lists are mutable, right? So whatever changes this function will do in this list fnums, those changes will be reflected back here in the main also. You can have a different name of this list here in the main, and you can have a different name here. Instead of fnums, you can give it some other name in the function. You can give fnm, right? So the name of the same list will become fnm here, right? But whatever changes this function will do, those changes will be reflected back in the main. Why? Because lists are mutable data types. Okay, so I'll keep it as fnums only. Okay, so here in the main area I have called this function 3 times. That means I want to add 3 values first, 3 floating point numbers. Every time when this function will be called, it will call fnums, it will read one floating point number from the user, and that number will be appended in the list. Okay, Then I want to display what is the contents of the list. Okay, so first let us not get confused. We'll just write print and then f nums. Okay, that will display my stack. This I'll make it as okay. Then now in order to delete a node, right, I have written a function named pop underscore num, which will receive one list of elements. What this function will do, from this list it will delete one element. Which element? The last element, right? So before that, when this function is called, first of all what you will see, you will check whether there are any elements or nodes in the stack which can be deleted or not. कुछ डेटा है भी स्टैक के अंदर डिलीट करने के लिए, then only that data can be deleted na. So first of all you will check if f nums is equal to empty list. If f nums is, if this stack is empty, what you have to do, you have to display this message, sorry, stack is empty. If the stack is not empty, it will go in the else part, right? And then it will display this message, fn is equal to f nums dot pop. Now pop method of list, if you recall, pop method of list, what it does, it will delete the last element from the list, right? So insertion will be done in the last of the list and deletion is also done at the last in the list. So that way you are implementing a stack using list. Okay, and then you will display print deleted number is fn. So there is a small what you can say, kind of error here. If it will display this if there are no elements, right, it will display sorry stack is empty, and then you will get error here, fn is not defined. So in order to resolve that, you put this print statement in the else. If there is anything to be deleted, then only it will display this message, deleted number is fn, right? Otherwise it will display message stack is empty. Okay, so if the stack is not empty, it will come in the else part. In the else part, this pop method will remove or delete the last value of this list. That last value will be saved in fn, right? And then you will say that deleted number is fn, and then if you display the list, this element would have been removed, the last element would have been removed from this list. Okay, after deleting also, let us display. Okay, what I'll do, I will just display print and I'll say f nums. Okay, this all I'll make as comment. Okay, so my code is ready now. What this code is supposed to do, it is creating an empty stack first. Name of the stack is f nums. Then it is inserting 3 values in the stack. Every time it will ask, when this function will be called push nums, it will receive one parameter that is a list, which is actually a stack. It will read the value, right, and that value will be added in this list. That value will be added at the end of this list. Okay, so fnums dot append fn, whatever number you will receive from the user, whatever number user will enter, that number will be added in this stack. Okay, then when you call pop nums, first it will check again, this function is supposed to receive one list. From this list it will check whether this list is empty. If this list is empty, that means your stack is empty. If your stack is empty, there is nothing to be deleted. You will display this message, stack is empty. Otherwise you will call pop method of this list, fnums. So fnums dot pop will remove the last element from the list. That last element will go in fn, right? And then you will display deleted number is fn. Okay, so first we'll see the execution of this. Enter a floating number. Now from where this message has come, see, it started execution from this place, right? From the main area it will execute na. Before that there are function definitions only, right? There are two these internal what you call it, comment, right? And then comments are not executed. Then there are three function definitions. Then again this main is a comment. I have written here to just ensure you, while reading you will come to know that this is the main area, right? Then this is the first statement which will execute, fnums is equal to an empty list. So initially your stack is empty. Then it has called push underscore num fnums. It has given fnums to this function. Now in order to execute this function, it is executing this statement. From this statement you are getting this message, enter a floating number. So I'll enter 99.8. okay, then 3 times you have called push underscore nums. So 3 times it will execute this function, right? After reading this value, it has appended 99.8. that means fnums 0 के ऊपर क्या सेव होगा, 99.8, right? Then second value will be saved at fnums index 1. Third value will be saved at fnums index 2, right? So second time I'll enter 88.8. Third time I'll enter 77.7. okay, after that what you had written here, display the stack. What is the stack? fnums is the stack. Okay, so if you see output here, it is displaying the list, right? Then you had called pop num fnums. So the last value is deleted, right? When it called pop method, pop nums, here pop num fnums, the stack was not empty, so it came here. fn के अंदर it saved 77.7, right? That value is actually removed from the stack, which is a list. तो list में से it has removed 77.7, and then print deleted number is, so it is displaying deleted number is 77.7. then it returned back in the main area. After pop, what you had written, print fnums. Okay, so it is printing this list, right? So still you have actually implemented stack using a list, but because you have written this code, you will come to know that yes, I have implemented. If you have to show this execution to someone else, how someone else will come to know, right? There must be a proper displaying of values, right? If the other person doesn't know Python, the other person knows what is a stack, right? If at all the other person doesn't know what is Python, he should be able to understand what is actually your code is doing, right? You know it is a list, it is displaying a list, but from this list we will display the values which are easier for the other user to understand. Now in order to display the values properly, again I have written a function named display. Okay, this display receives one parameter which is a list, right? Then it is just displaying stack, and then again first of all it will check while deleting and while displaying. First of all you have to check whether there are elements in the stack which can be deleted or which can be displayed. So first it is checking whether fnum is empty. If it is empty, it will display stack is empty. Otherwise what it will do, from the last value, from the last index, every time it will display a value and then the pointer will move to the second last value and then the previous value. Like this it will go from the last value till 0th index. So if there are 5 elements in the list, the index of topmost element will be 4 and the index of last element will be 0. Okay, so I have created a loop which will go from last element. Now length of fnums will give you the length, right? But here you have to generate a sequence so that you can iterate on index. You can iterate on indices of the list, right? So if there are 5 elements, length will give you 5 elements, right? And the index of last element is what? The index of last element will be 4. So it will start from length of the list minus 1. So it will start from the last index and it has to reach till 0. So if you write 0 here as second argument, then it will actually go up to 1 and minus 1 tak jata hai na. So I have written minus 1 so that it reaches index 0 also. Every time it should be incremented by minus 1. That means from the last index it will reach up to 0th index. That is what we have to do. And then every time it will display the value starting from the last index till 0th index. Okay. Now after adding 3 values I have called display, right? Then after deleting one value I have called display. Then I have deleted one more value, I have called display, right? And then your program stops. Okay. Now again let us see execution of this code. If I run it, okay, 99.9, 88.8, 77.7. Now see how it is displaying the values. It is displaying values in the same manner like this, right? First value will be at the bottom, then next value, then next value, then next value. So this will be the topmost value. That is how it is displaying the values now. Okay, 99 was the first value, so it has gone down, then 88, then 77. Then when you called pop method, pop will delete the topmost value, that is 77.7. Then it has displayed the stack after deleting 77. Then one more time pop was called. You can see this code. One more time pop was called. After adding 3 values it has called display method, right? So after adding 3 values, this is the execution of display method. Then pop num, when pop num method was called, 77.7 is deleted. Then display method was called, it has displayed the stack. Then again pop method is called, right? After it has deleted 88.8. After deleting 88.8 there is 99.9. Only one value is saved in the stack. Okay, one more improvisation I can do in this code, that I can display a message here that this is the topmost value. Okay, so for that what I have to do, I have to again change this code a bit. Here when I'll go in the else part, I'll say that top is equal to length of f nums minus 1. So my topmost index is this, right? Then I'll display print, and then I'll say f nums index top. So it will display the topmost value, and it will display this message that this is the topmost value. Now from the second last value I have to go. So what I'll do, I'll write top minus 1. My range should start from the second last index now, because the last element I have displayed here already, right? After displaying this last element, the loop will start from second last element till index 0. Okay, again I'll execute this code and see. I'll give some other values: 10.1, 20.2, 30.3. Now see, now it is looking more, it has a more it is more readable now, right? Now if the end user knows what is a stack, if he doesn't know Python also, the end user will come to know that you are maintaining a stack where the first value is saved in the bottom, then second value, then last value is saved at the top. So this is the stack where topmost value is 30.3. Then if an element is deleted from the stack, the topmost element must be deleted. After deleting, now your stack becomes this. Topmost element is, or the topmost node is this. Then if you call pop method, it will delete the topmost value. Now your stack becomes this. Now this is more sensible.